We have, information to share about this program that's going into its third year with Buffy and Jeremy, who co-coordinate and do quite a bit of leading of the program.
Having done different formats, having led different 300 hours over the years, what Samadhi has done with the pacing is probably the top of my list important juiciness about this training, because it allows for an immersive deep dive long weekend and then 3 weeks of soak time. It's like you get to go deep for one weekend and kind of that's all you're doing except sleeping that weekend. But then you get to step away and journal and practice and go back to those places in your practice. Welcome, Heather, where you kind of can assess like, okay, I learned this in that immersive weekend. How does this look in my real life? And you kind of try it on. And you have a few weeks to do that. And then we meet again. And then the same thing. So I have found this once a month. The way that it's formatted
just started.
Is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is 1 3-day module per month between January and November. So every month, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, full days, 9 to 6:30, 9 to 6, and 9 to 6. And we were going to reform a teacher training. We kind of were asking the community, what do you want? And resoundingly, people wanted to have a really clear start and finish path with a group and in person. So that's what we've done. The teachers in the program are Buffy and Jeremy. They're like mom and dad of the 300 hour. They're really centering Christine Whittle, Derek Azaleas, Susie Kinsler, Jenny Nelson-Fagan, Carrie Bergeron, Santosh, Hansa, Cole, and Tawani. It's a large group of trainers because they're all specialized in what they're teaching. So they have this incredible amount. Yes, Layla, she's hearting that. They have this incredible amount of knowledge in what they're bringing. And everybody, a lot of these teachers do come from different lineages, and we love that because they're able to really bring different perspectives within this framework of Hatha Vinyasa. And you'll get a lot of different styles and experiences along the way.
In 200 hour, there's a feeling of like, oh, I just know this is really good medicine. And I'm just kind of like skidding in and, looking around and going, how do I like put my feet on the ground? And what are my right and left? There's a little bit of that in 200 hour. At this 300 hour, there is an assumption that you have been organizing your feet for a little bit of time and that you are committed to a life of practice and breath and connection, and that you've already tried that on.
And, the intention of this program is not just that it's academic study, and not that 200 hour is either, because so much self-development just naturally happens in yoga. But, as Buffy said, 200 hour students come in and they're like, oh, I love this yoga thing, and tell me more about it and kind of what's behind it. And so you're taking in a lot of information. Here you've kind of have that information and you're building upon it. And so it becomes more about the transformation of yourself as a human yogi and as a teacher, professional. And so we've named the program Embody Samadhi for that reason, so that you're really kind of learning to take these concepts and how you're sharing them with the world, and really get more comfortable and grounded in that and in your voice and your message. Teaching skills, kind of honing in on your voice, finding like what your message is, what your purpose is as a teacher. Buffy's wonderful with that. You'll have time with different teachers, and then on Sundays, either Buffy or Jeremy is here to sort of hold it back down and answer questions and kind of wrap things up with you. And that's been wonderful, right?
Yeah, I want to speak to that a little bit. So that's been a newer evolution just this year. I think when Jeremy and I dreamed up this program with Amelia, we were really intent on making it diverse. And then what we found, I think, the first year was that the diversity is wonderful, but we could use a little like anchoring at the end, an assimilation day. And so we've now committed to that it'll be either myself or Jeremy or both. But that has created kind of like a thigh bones to the ground feeling of the training of like, okay, we get to see you teach practically every Sunday. One of us is holding the space for you to teach. We're seeing your growth in a cumulative way. We have the ability to answer your questions. We see your light. We see your vision for how you want to refine as a teacher. Every single month, one of us is seeing that. And then he and I talk behind the scenes and say, okay, like Dana's doing great and we need to kind of push her towards this. Or there's like this very specialized way we're getting able to hold people because we're here every Sunday.
But would you say it's pretty similar in the way that it's set up?
It feels to me, it's like akin to the difference of undergraduate and graduate school. It has that like there tends to be more freedom of schedule or of topic in graduate school because there's like an assumption that you are going to harness the material and do something with it. There will be some review, but I think there's an assumption that we'll be swimming in the deep end of things philosophically. And that we'll be looking through the lens of teaching and also personal practice to an extent, but personal practice to ground. You have a little bit more, like you have a stronger digestive system in the 300 hour because you're like assimilating it in a discerning way, hopefully, and in a way that's like, oh, I really love that. I'm going to take it upon myself to learn more about that. So there's more potential for rabbit holes and for more like specializing your voice, which is, I think, different than the 200 hour because 200 hour feels more like boxes that you're just checking. Like I learned the chakras, I learned the gunas. It's a little more checklisty, even at its best. And this program has like a rounded feeling to me of like the people that are going to love it the most are the people that are hungry to go down some rabbit holes and that like really are craving that learning space because it does take you off path, like off trail. And that potential is, I think, what makes it really magnificent and also not as spoon fed.
That's exactly the term that came to my mind a bit ago. Was we're not going to tell you this is exactly what you're going to learn in this program. There's a lot of content and it goes on for a lot longer, right? So I mean, you just have longer to kind of explore these concepts. And you've got this basis.
It's a grown-up training. Yeah, it has legs and it has like an expectation. You know, we want you to come in ready to teach. We want you to jump into the pool with us. And yeah, I think that it will stretch you and it will challenge you and it will nourish you and it will ground you and it will do all the things at different times. That it's not just about personal exploration, it's about how to become or how to refine your light work in the world. One thing that I think we do very well is that we make a clear bridge from the material to how do I teach, how do I incorporate that material into my teaching. So you're always going to have, whether it's a guest teacher or whether it's us, you're going to have practicum with whatever we give you. So we're going to find a way to say, okay, how do you stitch that into your actual class? And of course, you're going to have affinities to certain things. Like some people are going to really love the restorative and the nidra, and they're going to go in that direction. And some people are going to love the philosophy. So it's a bit choose your own adventure in that sense, where you can get really excited about something and want to do more of that and shine your light in that direction more. You'll still have to take the other subjects and practice it, but that may not be what you run with. So you get to kind of decide your path while you're trying things on.
How much are we going to be teaching during the year, and when does that start?
It starts right away. You will be teaching every weekend. The Sundays are primarily geared to practicum with me or Jeremy. We may start out smaller, like I'm going to assign something where you teach for 5 minutes, and that may lengthen depending on what the concepts are we're trying to drive home, but you will for sure get a lot of airtime and a lot of chances for feedback, and both peer feedback and feedback from us.
Also, is it more heavily emphasized kind of on teaching or compared to 200-hour?
It's woven, I'd say, from beginning to end, and Sundays being more heavily focused on teaching. I would say it's a mix. And for teachers who are really wanting to advance their teaching skills, they can do that. And then again, for the teachers who are like, well, I do like to teach yoga, but really I just want to get a lot more philosophy, they're going to get that too. Or, they want to focus in on something that isn't like just sequencing and theming and kind of their teaching voice. It's required to do that, but it's not that you have to be solely focused on that. There's definitely still a balance.
Yeah, I think there's a really good balance, and there will always be the opportunity to ask the question, how would I mulch this to teach it in my own way? Like that's always going to be the invite in this training, so that you're thinking that way. Whether or not you go down that rabbit hole will be up to you. And like Amelia said, it will be built into the practicum, but how far you take that will be up to you. But it will always be there as potential.
I think that's a really beautiful way to learn. It's
Yeah.
we learn so much faster, like all of philosophy topics and things, like thinking in the ability of how do I teach.
Yeah. I do too. Thank you.
How much asana are we going to be doing over the three-day weekends?
It will depend on who's teaching. You will move every day. Like, we're not going to just talk to you for 8 hours straight, but we're also not going to move you for 8 hours straight. So we're trying to do it so that the day feels balanced in your bodies. Yeah.
Are there outside assignments between the weekends?
Yes, there might be some things like for this month, I would like you to, if you don't have a regular meditation practice, I would like for you to commit to 20 minutes a morning, and keep a journal about it. Of course, these are suggestions and not always things that we're going to like track. You're not going to bring back a homework sheet. It's a little bit like the things that are offered are generally for your depth and exploration. And so the ask is, yes, to fully get what you want out of the program, that you do them, but it's not like do this math worksheet.
There are the 5 classes.
Yes.
And you're teaching. Great. So, and even if a person isn't teaching, that's okay. But something to be aware of is that the expectation is that you'll teach 5 classes,
Yeah.
and taking what you've learned in any given module or 2 and incorporating that into a class, and then getting some feedback forms from students.
And it doesn't need to be
Thanks, Heather. That's great.
different than your regular class. Like if you're teaching a public class, that counts. You just do the feedback forms and do a little contemplation on that. So it doesn't have to be extra. Yeah.
And if students are not teaching regularly, we do have a community class here that people can plug into on a rotating basis. It can be something where you gather some friends and family and just, kind of do this, but we do want it to be a executed class.
There's
something
also
natural.
a final project, which is to teach a 3-hour workshop in collaboration with other students. So depending on how many people are in the training, you'll be collaborating with one or sometimes two other people. And there's a lot of freedom of what your topic is. It's like a workshop on yoga, asana. There'll be asana and different components that are part of that. You'll build a flyer. You'll teach it as if you're teaching it to the public. We actually do teach you, if you don't know already, how to build workshops, how to build curriculum, how to be a teacher trainer eventually, and how to do retreats. We talk about all those logistics. So we give you kind of a chance to try it on for a safe space. Yeah.
Yeah, and any required reading, well, and we actually say that it's all optional, like in terms of like buying books, and say a person is, so interested in Ayurveda, like buy the Ayurveda book. But if not, since you're just going to have one weekend on that, it's up to you how much you want to dive into the additional studies. There's a lot of recommended reading, and only one or two required books. One is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Yeah, and then Teaching Yoga by Mark Stevens. These are not necessarily like you must read them before the training starts or by the time it finishes, or there's going to be chapters assigned, things like that. These are just references for you ongoing. And then I do try to send out like any handouts or recommended reading within a couple of weeks before the modules.
You will get an outline of what to expect prior to the weekend. So the week before, so you kind of know like, okay, we're going to be doing a lot of back bends and advanced asana. So I need to kind of prepare myself accordingly. Or it's a weekend of all restorative yoga. Most of the time, I will say there is more of a balance.
So it kind of varies teacher to teacher, module to module, what's recommended and how much you really want to get into that for that content on your own. So there are a lot of resources available to you, and then, showing up and being here for those weekends, doing the 5 classes. There's 4 hours of community service. Generally, people have some absences, and we do work with 2 full days. You don't have to make up. So then for more absences than that, you get with us, and we'll either have you take workshops here at Samadhi. You can make things up the following year. There's just different ways to stay on track. But being here and being present, of course, is number one, and the main goal for our students. They want to be here, and sometimes if something comes up, we figure out ways to work with it. But for the most part, you do want to look at your calendar and say, I can do that. We've opened up like the possibility that Fridays could be offered virtually, not in lieu of being in person, but hybrid is what I mean. So that if a person just can't come on Fridays because they have a traditional schedule, they can still enroll in the program. I work with all different payment plans for people. We don't like finances to be the only consideration for this. And so I have individual conversations with a lot of students about what is going to make this work for you in terms of payment plans. Is it monthly payments? Is it 5 payments over the course of the year? What have you? So unlimited yoga begins with that deposit. So if you were to sign up soon, you would start your Sangha membership, and that would go through 2026.
What's the max capacity of how many students you take in?
Is it 20?
18.
18.
Yeah.
It's in this room.
Okay.
So it gets a little bit tight after 18. I don't think we've seen about 14 to 17 the last few years. So that's
Yeah.
probably typical.
Is there like a sign up is there a sign up, not sign up, but like application deadline?
So I would say sooner than later, you do want to make the commitment. However, as long as there's space, it's really on your timeline
Yeah.
to know when you're ready and when that really comes for you naturally. That's the most important thing. By all means, the incentive to start your unlimited yoga. There's an application on the 300-hour page. Once you've completed that, we'll pass you along to Buffy.
Yeah, it's just a really casual, like 30-minute Zoom. Mostly I just want to know more about your background and share anything you want to know about mine, and just give you a little more insight, personal insight into what the program is and what the expectations are and what your desires are for the program. So it's a really sweet little time for us to get to know each other before you're full on in.
We fill out the application first and then we meet with Buffy and then we pay the deposit and the rest?
Generally, we want to see the application, kind of know where you're coming from, have her get a good sense of, again, where you are and where you're going. Yeah, and then sort of give the green light on both sides.
Yeah, I love it. And I love like the long drawn out kind of more time to integrate and assimilate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a great format. People have really responded really positively to it. It's nice to have that, like, when you're going to start and finish. There's unforeseen circumstances, or if somebody says like, oh, I need to like defer to next year, or, there's ways to sort of like have some flexibility within it. But if you're ready to start and finish by November, December is actually when graduation is, like, you can get through it and it's a manageable schedule. So
That's awesome. And how long are the lunch breaks? I know this.
1 hour.
an hour.
And then
Okay.
there's like usually a 15-minute break in the morning and then a 15-minute break in the afternoon. So you have some space.
I'm good. My main decision is, do I want to wait? Because I just finished the 200 hour and I just
Right.
can't decide if I want a little more time between them,
There's pros and cons to both.
Mhm.
And if you want to talk further about that, get in touch with me. I think there's upsides to waiting, and there's upsides to jumping into the deep end, I think.
And importantly, you are teaching, Heather. I know it's
Mhm.
something that you're integrating into your practice is teaching. It's an individual decision about readiness and a willingness to teach in front of a group of students.
And I do feel like the program lives up to that name. Like it does feel like that embodiment is on our minds the whole year.
You can always reach out to me by email, text. Buffy's
Or me, yeah,
available. Yeah,
available.
Jeremy is here on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and he's always happy to, all of the teachers would be happy to share what they know and let about the program. With that, we're so thankful that you spent a little time with us today. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Reach out anytime.
Bye.
Bye.
Miss you.
Miss you. See you soon.